on ECG book, there is a book which is there. You can download. You can download from the class only. Okay, we'll start this class now. This is a respiratory system, part 6. And there are about five to six classes are there. You can see them in from the YouTube channel as well as from the links that I posted in the classroom. And today I'll be discussing on ARDS, SARS, and something little about sarcoidosis. So the first question is, shock lung is characterized by, what is the answer? First choice is alveolar proteinosis, bronchiolitis obliterans, diffuse alveolar damage, diffuse pulmonary hemorrhage.
Sir,
Which of them is?
diffuse alveolar damage is the.
Okay, diffuse alveolar damage. Why you say it is diffuse alveolar damage?
Sir, shock lung is otherwise called as ARDS.
Yeah, it is also known as ARDS commonly. There are many names for ARDS, and one of the name is shock lung. I'll come to that. Okay, this was just a question now. We'll come to ARDS proper now. It is also called as acute. Some people put it as adult, but the best would be still I would put it as acute only.
Yes,
Acute
sir.
respiratory distress syndrome. This is acute acute would be the better choice. Acute respiratory distress syndrome. This is a full form of this ARDS. Now,
Yes, sir.
see, one thing you have to see here, acute onset within the 7 days of the, this is the respiratory distress. Respiratory distress should start. See, for example, you have a pneumonia. A patient has got a pneumonia now. If this patient has gone to ARDS, you want to call. It should happen within 7 days from the onset of the illness. Why they are putting it this way is this pneumonia or all these acute conditions can cause disease like fibrosing cavity, destruction of the lung by a chronic process. Okay, and that can later lead to distress of the respiration, and then it is not ARDS. This is the acute onset of 7 days. Is the this is meant for that? Okay, you are getting me?
Yes, sir.
So the acute respiratory distress syndrome means that it should happen from the onset of the illness, whatever the illness that is complicating to ARDS, that should be not more than 7 days. Of course, there could be some confusion here, but the purpose is for to avoid chronic illnesses leading to distress, respiratory distress. That's the reason. Now there should be hypoxia with the bilateral. Look at this. It is a bilateral, bilateral lung infiltrates. So if it is unilateral, or a lobar, segmental, lobar, segmental, lobar segmental, then we cannot call it as ARDS. So the bilateral diffuse alveolar damage is the one prerequisite to produce hypoxia. Then only we can call it as ARDS. That's the reason. Now, apart from this, there's one more thing. See, when you get in a respiratory distress, it could be from cardiovascular disease, or from pleural diseases like effusion,
Yes.
hydropneumothorax, pneumothorax. All these things can acutely lead to respiratory distress. Cardiovascular means, in the sense, what I'm telling is left heart
Ventricular failure.
failure. Left heart failure, put it simply. Left heart failure. It could not necessarily ventricular, man. Even atria can fail in a mitral stenosis. Ventricle can be spared there. Okay, I'll just call it as left heart failure. So even
Yes, sir.
they should. What does it mean is pulmonary venous hypertension should not be there, or in other terms, left atrial pressure should be less than
No.
18 mm Hg.
Yes, sir.
This is to rule out what? Serious causes. This is
Pulmonary edema.
what they are called left atrial pressure. I'll call as left atrial pressure. Or it is measured with help of pulmonary pulmonary wedge capillary
Capillary.
pressure. Because we cannot assess the left atrial pressure directly, what we do is we pass a Swan-Ganz catheter from, hold on a second, I'll come here, see. So heart has got a, see, this is a, there are 4 chambers in the heart. So you jugular vein, from the internal jugular vein we pass a catheter, it goes to right atrium, from there right atrium it goes to pulmonary artery, from there it goes to the tip of the branches of the pulmonary artery, which will actually measure the venous pressure by wedging or by blocking the venous pressure, which is a pressure of the left atrium. You're getting me?
Yes, sir.
So the Swan-Ganz catheter is pushed up till here, and we try to measure the pressure of the left atrium. Okay, that is a wave pressure. That is called as pulmonary capillary wedge pressure, which is equal to left atrial pressure. So you should know this. Pulmonary capillary wedge pressure is equal to left atrial pressure. So this has to be less than 18 mm. 18 mm. So then only we can call it as ARDS. Okay, this is a prerequisite.
Yes, sir.
So hypoxia cannot be explained by pleural acid and heart disease. So these are the one briefly what is ARDS I told you. No, when these things are there, then we can diagnose ARDS. I'll go to the next slide. So the first question was after this slide. So there are many names for ARDS. First one, the question was that shock lung, blast lung, traumatic wet lung. It is here, wet lung it is. Traumatic west lung, congestive atelectasis. Because there is a congestion inside the alveoli and the alveoli collapse there. That's why it is called as a congestive atelectasis. And the most otherwise name is non-cardiogenic pulmonary edema, which is synonymous with the ARDS. And diffuse, yeah, this is the one, diffuse alveolar damage. So these are the few other names for ARDS. Okay, all of you are understanding?
Yes, sir.
Others are not telling no, yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, I'll go to the next slide now. So the lung, involvement of the lung could be by directly hitting the lung or indirectly hitting the lung. Okay, by direct damage to the lung or by indirectly by circulatory issues, then the lung can be involved. There are two ways. What are the diseases which directly damage the lung? So as you can expect, the pneumonia, the first choice. The pneumonia means, what is pneumonia? It is a consolidation of the lung. The lung pathology is right inside the lung. So it is a direct cause of ARDS. Like indirect lung injury or ARDS. Okay. Lung injury is a old term. So ARDS is a new term. So ARDS can happen due to pneumonia, aspiration of gastric contents. What is this called? Which syndrome?
Mendelssohn syndrome, sir.
Mendelssohn syndrome. Okay. Pulmonary contusion, near drowning, toxic inhalation, and important here, lung transplantation. It is due to reperfusion injury. It is direct lung damage, lung perfusion. Remember that. The questions can come from that. And fat embolism syndrome. These are the few causes for direct lung injury. Now the indirect. The first would be sepsis. Sepsis is the first and one of the common causes, indirect causes for ARDS. Severe polytrauma, like multiple bone fractures, multiple bone fractures, fracture, bone fractures can also cause indirect lung injury. This one is a bit doubtful. Anyway, multiple bone fractures. Okay, multiple bone fractures can cause indirectly they can damage the burns. Burns it is because of infections only again and sepsis. Okay, and blood transfusions, multiple blood transfusions can also lead to ARDS. Okay, you should know that. And drug overdose, narcotic, acute pancreatitis is one of the important causes for most of the patients with acute pancreatitis. They'll end up with ARDS as a terminal event. Okay, if somebody has come, I'll admit him. Okay. Now, acute pancreatitis, post cardiopulmonary bypass, head injury, huh, pregnancy related ischemia. These are tuberculosis, necrosis syndrome. These are all indirect causes. Okay. Just remember them. Now, this diagnosis of ARDS and its definition has been modified. The first one came somewhere long back in 1994. There was a uh, sort of agreement how to diagnose. But in the latest one is from what is this Berlin in the year 2012. How to diagnose a patient as a having ARDS. Now they have come to a conclusion. ARDS can be diagnosed once the cardiogenic pulmonary edema or alternative causes of acute hypoxic respiratory failure and bilateral infant has been excluded. This is wrong. I think so. I wrongly typed it. Hmm? It is actually ARDS. Oh, okay, correct. Sentence is full. ARDS can be diagnosed once. Huh? Cardiogenic pulmonary edema. Huh? Huh? And alternative causes for acute hypoxic respiratory failure and bilateral infiltrates in the lung has been excluded. That means to say the pathology of causing hypoxia is from lung only. The meaning of this, by excluding others, we put a blame on lung as a cause of hypoxia. The whole thing is meaning it is meaning to that. You're getting the point.
Yes,
Huh?
sir.
It needs a following criteria. I'll come to them. How to diagnose? But following criteria there. ARDS is a more of a disease. We diagnose ARDS by usually by excluding cardiogenic pulmonary edema. Many times there will be a dilemma in a clinical setting that whether am I dealing this case as a cardiogenic pulmonary edema or otherwise. That is usually first differential diagnosis. Okay. Hmm?
Yes.
It comes now. The Berlin definition of acute disorder. All the criteria should be met to diagnose according to this. Okay. So that is 1 week. What I was telling. Timing of the ARDS should be within 1 week from a initial event. If it is not after long problem, chest imaging should show bilateral, not fully explained effusions, lobar, lung collapse. All these things should be ruled out to call it as a ARDS. That means to say that it should be alveolar damage has to be there. By excluding this means you're actually looking for alveolar damage as the cause of hypoxia. They're basically pointing to that there. The edema, as I said, it should be from the lung. Respiratory
Yes, sir.
cannot be expressed cardiac fluid volume overload. All those things you should follow out. Or by doing a cardiac disease, we do echo and see whether the what we see is what. In echo, the most important parameter is left ventricular ejection fraction. It should not be less than 50 or 40. 50 actually. Now, this is the way that we diagnose ARDS. Now, the ARDS has been classified into mild, moderate, and severe. Okay, the mild is this ratio, that is PaO2 to FiO2, pulmonary arterial oxygen to FiO2 means the amount of oxygen you are giving to the patient with a PEEP. PEEP means what? What is the full form of PEEP? Anybody?
Partial pressure of
What is a PEEP? It means PEEP means positive end expiratory pressure. See, when you it is basically a ventilator setting. You know what is a respiratory ventilator?
Yes,
Whole
sir.
world is behind ventilators now. Huh? Hello?
Sir.
Ventilators you heard, you know na?
Yes, sir.
yes.
You have
Absolutely.
seen them in action. How many of you have not seen a ventilators in action?
Sir.
Hello? Nobody is telling
Yes, sir.
yes or no. I presume that you have never seen a ventilator. Have you gone inside the intensive care unit in your hospitals? In your PG, what is this? Final year postings?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Okay. Then you would have seen they would have put an endotracheal tube and they'll connect that machine. Endotracheal tube will connect it to a machine. At least you
Yes,
must
sir.
be seeing it lot of it in TVs now. Huh?
Yes.
If you just switch on the TV, within 5 minutes they'll show a ventilator patient. Any news channel you go, you can say ventilator in action now. They need not go to hospitals now. Fine.
Yes, sir.
You're getting me.
Yes, sir.
It is something important that's I'm asking you. This
Yes,
is
sir.
PEEP is a setting in the ventilator. Okay. PEEP full
Okay.
form is positive end expiratory pressure. That means, see, this is the alveoli. Huh? This is the bronchus. So, with the help of the ventilator, you push the air, and during inspiration, during expiration, the air is pushed out. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So, at the end of the expiration, before the start of the next inspiration, there is a sort of a negative. This one, and these alveoli may collapse. So, at the end of the expiration, before the next inspiration, there is a what? These alveoli may collapse. To prevent this alveoli, they use PEEP. That is, at the end of the expiration, they maintain a positive sustained pressure. Okay, they don't allow the intra-alveolar pressure to go down to 0. So they'll keep it around 5 usually. 5 mm, so that the alveoli are not allowed to collapse. This is a PEEP setting. So one more advantage of PEEP is it will make the oxygen to diffuse out into circulation. Although there are problems of diffusion, see in ARDS what is there? There is a diffusion problem. The air which is in the alveoli cannot get out of that alveoli because there are lot many barriers here. Hyaline membrane, exudate, this, that. They cannot get diffused to circulation into capillaries. So
Yes.
by inducing a pressure, sustained pressure, we may push this alveolar air to go into the capillaries and thus increase the blood O2. You're getting me?
Yes, sir.
So that's the purpose of PEEP you got. So PEEP, what it does?
Positive.
Two functions. Reduce alveolar
Collapse.
collapse, then increase O2
Oxygen.
inside a blood by
Capillary.
pushing it, actually pushing it. So the transfer of gases across would be by hydrostatic pressure or by what is that, diffusion. So even if we increase the pressure, we can achieve what? Oxygen pressure inside. So here, so to call a patient is having mild ARDS, the uh, what is this
Less than
ratio? This ratio has to be what? What? It should be
less than
less than
300.
300, less than 300, and more than 200. Okay, then it is mild.
Yes,
If
sir.
this ratio is a less than 200 and more than 200, 1 and 200, it is moderate. Less than 100, it is severe.
Severe.
Okay. So the classification of mild, moderate, severe is based on this ratio. Okay. PaO2 bar FiO2. So FiO2 is a oxygen setting. How much percent of oxygen are pushing inside the lung with this PEEP. Okay. You are giving PEEP and RS a PEEP, and you are trying to, after giving this much of PEEP, and if the oxygen FiO2 and PaO2 ratio, if it is less than 300, then we can call the patient has got mild ARDS. Similarly, moderate goes and the severe goes. You are understanding? Shall I go to the next one?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So again, same slide I have put it here. I'll just keep. And one more thing is normal PaO2 FiO2 ratio is 450. You should know this. Normal is 450, and this is ARDS. Mild, moderate, severe. So cardiogenic pulmonary edema versus ARDS. Actually, I discussed anyway. Here I put it. Pulmonary capillary wedge pressure should be less than 18 mmHg to call it as ARDS or non-cardiogenic pulmonary edema. If it is more than this, then it is cardiogenic pulmonary edema. If the ratio is more than 18, it is cardiogenic pulmonary edema. Stages of ARDS now. According to Harrison, there are 3 stages.
Yes, sir.
Exudative, proliferative, fibrotic. Exudative phase starts from 7th to 8th day. Phase, it lasts for 7 to 8, 1 week almost. From phase, it starts like this. It lasts for 7 days. Sorry, when ARDS is diagnosed, the age
0 to
lasts for
7.
7 days. After that, then you go into proliferative phase. Then you go to what is this fibrotic phase. In the exudative phase, there's a exudate forming, accumulation of exudates here inside the alveoli. Basically, this is the alveoli. There's a exudate accumulation. All debris there. In proliferative, all the hyaline membrane will form. In fibrotic, it is a recovery phase, and recovery happens with what? Fibrosis. Okay, and that's how we are seeing the COVID patients complications fibrosis. They are hearing na paper mein. This is what it is. Yeah, it is complication. Okay, these are the stages of ARDS. Now, so what are types of respiratory failures? I expect new people to answer now.
Type 1, type 2.
How many are there? How many are there?
Sir, type 1, type 2, type 3, 4. 4
Type
types,
4,
sir.
yeah. So newcomers, what is type 1?
Only hypoxia, not hypercapnia, sir.
Okay. Type 2 is?
Hypercapnia.
Yeah. CO2 is increased. What is type 3? Aspiration. What is type 3?
Aspiration.
It is a post anesthesia atelectasis. Atelectasis. Post anesthesia, there will be atelectasis of the lung fields, and they cause leading into pulmonary respiratory failure. Then what is type 4? Shock, cardiogenic shock, or this shock leading to hypoperfusion of the respiratory muscles, leading to respiratory failure. Okay, these are the 4 types of respiratory failures, but most of them are type 1 and type 2 are very important. Remember that. Okay, so the type of failure is this, and you should know this. Alveolar fluid being an inflammatory process, ARDS being an inflammatory process, the fluid is exudate. This is common sense. Okay. Okay. It's inflammation there. So you don't expect transudate to come. What you can expect is the exudate, and that will be exudate. The MCQs do wonder, they'll come around this. That's why I'm telling it here. There are many MCQs. And whenever there's a problem, usually type 1 hemocytes are damaged. Type 1 hemocytes are damaged in ARDS. And for to diagnose, this is the criteria. ARDS, PCWP, or left atrial filling pressure, or pulmonary capillary filling pressure should be less than 18 mmHg. That is a criteria.
Yes,
So these are the features, silent features of ARDS. Now treatment. So the major issues when you start treating the ventilators with ventilator, ARDS patients, ventilator will damage the lung. They may damage the lung because what happens is the tidal volume. What is tidal volume now?
Sir,
What is tidal volume?
the amount of volume that remain in the lungs after each expiration and
Yeah,
inspiration.
normal aspiration.
Yes, sir.
Normal aspiration, the volume, whatever you take in and out, that is tidal volume. Okay. This tidal volume should be kept. That means with the ventilator we can set it. How much to be the tidal volume? Hmm? It should be kept around 6 ml. That means low per kg it is. So 6 ml per kg, you have to keep the lower side. Lower side, that means keep small tidal volumes. Increase, thus it will increase the respiratory rate to get adequate minute ventilation. To get an adequate minute ventilation, you reduce the tidal volume, increase the respiratory rate, and thus you reduce the what? Lung injury due to machine. Hmm? So if you start giving larger tidal volumes, the lung alveoli can get damaged. What happens is actually now, this is the lung now. In there are so many of the alveoli have got damaged. Now you give normal tidal volume. What happens is when these don't expand, but the normal alveoli which are there, they get over expanded. Okay, so due to over expansion, these will also get damaged. So that's the reason we need to reduce the tidal volume. Okay.
Yes,
Hmm?
sir.
Whatever volume you are pushing, it will shifted to normal lung fields. So prone ventilation, put the patient on a prone position. Thus we can increase the ventilator results. And even by reducing the fluid, although it is non-cardiogenic pulmonary edema, you keep the fluid, that is central venous pressure. What is central venous pressure? Tell me what is central venous pressure? It's actually measuring of JVP only. What is JVP? What is jugular venous pressure? You
Sir,
don't know what is JVP?
yes, sir.
No, answer, na. When I ask you JVP, you should tell us jugular venous pressure. Huh? See, the central venous pressure is you measure this venous pressure with putting on a tube inside the internal jugular vein and try to measure the pressure there. Okay. If the hypovolemia is there, the central venous pressure will be less. Either now you more blood, more amount of volume, intravascular volume is more, then the central venous pressure will be more. So by keeping the central venous pressure around in between 2 to 10, some people send of it is hydrostatic pressure, centimeters of water, we can that don't go and let it go more than 10 at least. If you give overhydrate, this is the ARDS may worsen. That fluid will be pushed to the lung. So keep it a bit of on the lower side. I discussed about PEEP. What is ECMO? Extra car tell a membrane oxygenator. That means here you are bypassing lung and heart both. And what will that blood will be shunted to this machine where that itself will oxygenate the blood and give it back to the patient. So because the lungs are damaged, heart may be also having so many problems, so better shunt it off to the ECMO and till the patient recovers, keep the patient on ECMO. When the patient recovers, put it back. Jayalalitha was put on this, huh?
Yes, sir.
There is something terminal thing. They try to save the patients. And neuromuscular blockade, because when you patients are put on ventilator, they may also breathe and fight with the machine, and thus they may damage their lung more. And what happens is the machine may be pushing air inside, this person may exhale during that time. They may not get good coordination. So to overcome that, what they do is they block the
Neuromuscular.
neuromuscular blockade they do. Okay. Now, as it's a disease of inflammation, you anti-inflammatory drugs, and thus decrease ARDS. And glucocorticoids are meant for that. Of course, this can worsen your septicemia. That danger is there. You should be careful. Now, direct lung injury. Hold on a second. Okay, now anyway. Okay. Direct lung injury leads to ARDS in which of these choices?
Lung transplantation, sir.
Yeah, lung, because all these diseases I discussed, they're all indirect. So normal pulmonary capillary wedge pressure with pulmonary edema is seen in where? Tell me
Sir,
where?
ARDS.
Where your first choice? Left atrial myxoma. Left atrial myxoma is a differential diagnosis for
Yeah,
mitral stenosis. So it behaves like a mitral stenosis. This leads to cardiogenic.
cardiogenic.
Pulmonary edema. So this is out. So there is a here the atrial pressure will be more, or even this PCWP will be more. Then what about pulmonary venous obstruction?
So this is the embolism, like
Where embolism? Pulmonary vein,
Congestion.
not pulmonary artery. I'm talking about pulmonary vein. How pulmonary vein embolism will happen? There are other diseases which can cause pulmonary vein constrictions. Actually, during this some iatrogenic only, many of times, for treating atrial fibrillation, they'll do ablation, ablation of the pulmonary veins. There are 4 pulmonary veins which open into the posterior aspect of the left atrium.
left atrium.
What they do is they do ablation here, radio frequency ablation around that. In fact, they sort of burn it up. They burn it. So when burning, as a complication of burning, there can be constriction here. Okay, as a side effect.
Yes.
So when they constrict, the pulmonary vein obstruction can occur. This is done for AF, atrial fibrillation. So pulmonary venous obstruction can occur because of that. So this will cause increase in PCWP, although LAP may be normal.
Okay. But high altitude is the
Huh?
high.
What happens to what, man? COVID, You're having rhinitis.
No, sir, high altitude
Okay. Pulmonary artery obstruction. What is this? Your favorite now, pulmonary embolism.
due to embolism.
Whatever is acute, chronic, there are many causes. Pulmonary artery can get obstructed. One of the cause is because of pulmonary embolism. So this is what happens. This doesn't cause what? Pulmonary edema. Pulmonary artery obstruction doesn't cause pulmonary edema. Okay, does not cause pulmonary edema. Sorry, edema. Okay, this causes pulmonary edema, but it is increased PCWP. This also can cause pulmonary edema, but it is increased PCWP. All these three, these two, they cause pulmonary edema, but PCWP is more. This one does not cause pulmonary edema only. So this is also out. This is also out. This is also out. Now what is left is high altitude. It causes a PCWP. So it is pulmonary edema. It is with the normal PCWP.
Yes.
That is the answer. Which of the following is not seen in ARDS?
Hypercapnia.
Hypercapnia, sir.
Oh, good.
Hypercapnia.
Why? Because it's a type 1
Respiratory.
Type
Yeah.
1
Because
respiratory.
hypercapnia comes in type 2.
Type
Huh?
2.
Hmm? So in ARDS, you do get pulmonary edema, hypoxia, and stiff lung is because of that exudate and all that stuff. Okay. In ARDS, not seen is decrease pulmonary confluence, increase pulmonary artery pressure, increase left atrial pressure, severe hypoxemia. Which of them is correct?
Increased
Not seen is. Which of them is
Increased
wrong?
pulmonary pressure.
What?
increased left atrial pressure.
Yeah. This is
Less
LAP, which is equal to PCWP, which has to be less than 18.
than
To
18.
call it as ARDS. Otherwise, it is not ARDS. So this is wrong. Hmm? Now, we'll come to this. Hmm? 60, what is okay? 65-year-old alcoholic is admitted to ICU with the diagnosis of acute pancreatitis. After 48 hours, he is unconscious and he has the following findings. Now, his SpO2 is 60%, PO2 is 60 mmHg, PCO2 is 30 mmHg, heart rate is 120. Chest X-ray was performed. This is a chest X-ray, and you tell me the diagnosis now.
A.
Hello.
Sir,
What
is
is
the
Mendelssohn
shock lung?
syndrome? Huh?
Shock lung.
Shock lung.
Mendelssohn
Straight
is
away. Now,
Mendelssohn syndrome is the aspiration pneumonitis, sir. Aspiration of the gastric.
yeah, it will be usually in the right lower lobe, like that. It can be bronchopneumonia like picture, but anyway, usually it will go to that place. Okay. Hmm? And surgery they not mentioned anywhere here. And they are given as one thing. What is this? What is this?
Acute pancreatitis.
Acute
Pancreatitis.
pancreatitis.
Acute pancreatitis is one of the causes of indirect ARDS. Okay, that is the one reason you should just come to what? Chalk lung.
Shocking.
Yeah. Even this cannot be ruled out. Nosocomial pneumonia. Patients of acute pancreatitis can develop nosocomial pneumonia.
Yes, sir.
And that in turn also will lead to shock lung. That can also happen. Okay. Because already patient has got hypoxia and oxygen is less. Carbon dioxide is already less. Carbon dioxide is there. That means this patient is having type 1 respiratory failure already. Even if it is a nosocomial pneumonia, he has entered shock lung. Either of the way, this is a better answer. Okay. This will also lead to this and produce this complication. So when this nosocomial pneumonia is there, so if they will develop ARDS and then only they'll develop all these things. And sympathetic fluid diffusion. There is no evidence of it. These angles are clear.
Costopenic. Yes.
Both are clear.
Angle is intact.
They're clear. Not a issue at all. 23-year-old medical student develops extreme shortness of breath with a blue fingertips. Bilateral crackles after trekking in Ladakh. He had gone to Ladakh, medical student. Okay. What is the probable diagnosis? So Ladakh means the temperature is down.
High
Okay.
altitude, sir.
Huh?
High altitude also.
Okay, that is also there. But even the patient can develop complications of what? Low temperature. You should keep that in mind. Just because I'm discussing ARDS, it need not always be ARDS. You think otherwise. Spread your mind.
Yes,
So you
sir.
should know this he has given frostbite. Because blue fingertips are there. You can develop, nah. But this
Bilateral
one
crack.
you can't explain. Bilateral crackles.
The one of the clues, sir.
Okay. Blue fingertips is possible. Okay, forget about this now.
Acute interest. Non-cardiogenic pulmonary edema.
Yeah, he has developed already discussed now. Shortness of breath. This is a better choice. Okay. Which of the following is not done in TRALI? What is TRALI?
Transfusion associated, sir, lung injury.
Transfusion associated lung injury. Very good. TRALI. What you should not do? You tell me. What is not done in a TRALI? IVF, diuretics, transfusion, Improve oxygenation.
Sir, so it's one of the cause of ARDS, sir. We can't do improve oxygenation because it is refractory to oxygenation, sir.
What? I didn't get what is the answer. What is not
Improve,
done in? Hmm? Tell
improve
me.
oxygen.
Hmm? Which of the following is not done in Trally?
Sir,
IVF.
D,
Huh?
sir. D.
You don't want to increase the improve oxygenation. You got to do this, huh? Huh?
Sir,
Trally, definitely I
may-
would stop transfusion.
because sir, I think trial is one of the cause of ARDS. That's why if we give oxygenation, it is refractory to oxygenation in ARDS.
They're asking you to improve oxygenation. Give ventilator, na? You got ventilator with you. Improve oxygenation. They're not asking you not to give ventilator here. You want to continue transfusion.
No, sir.
That's what I would definitely stop this. Huh? I would definitely stop this. Okay, there could be more than one answer. Hmm? What about diuretics? You want to give diuretics?
Yes, sir.
They may not benefit actually. Hmm? If it is transfusion also reaction, they may not benefit. But of course, I would stop transfusion, but definitely. Hmm? This one is stopped. Huh? Huh? Then
Yes, sir.
fluids I may give depending upon the case, but take care. But worst answer, I would go for this answer. In the book, he has given this there, but I was after this actually. Hmm? Hmm?
Okay, sir.
You have to stop transfusion. Hmm? But otherwise, next would be there's no point in giving diuretics. Hmm? Hmm? They may not benefit from diuretics. Hmm? Okay. Which of the following is not correct about transfusion associated circulatory overload now? Sir, due to transfusion is there is a circulatory overload. Which of them is not correct?
Sir, give diuretics.
Not correct, man. There is a circulatory overload means you have to give diuretics. Huh? What?
D.
D.
D. Yeah, the pulmonary capillary blood pressure can increase here. Huh? See, the bilateral lung infiltrated pulmonary edema, it will behave like a cardiogenic pulmonary edema now. Huh? Okay. This
Yes,
may
sir.
increase. Huh? So elevated BNP levels. This is because of heart failure. So this is because of heart failure. And diuretics you have to give to treat heart failure. And bilateral chest infiltrates can come due to heart failure or because of what? What? ARDS, either of them. So these things are there, but normal PCWP I don't expect here. If it is transfusion associated circulatory overload. He has given it there. That's the reason. Okay. Hmm? Hmm? I expect this to increase. I like heart failure. Hmm? Oh, 35-year-old paraplegic male develops fever and dyspnea over last 1 week with a rusty sputum and diffuse rails. BP is 70 by 50 mmSg. Chest X-ray shows diffuse alveolar infiltrate, which is the best for diagnosis. Now you have got a 35-year-old male. He's a chest X-ray. He's a 35-year-old paraplegic has a mild develops fever, dyspnea over 1 week with a rusty sputum. So he suggests that there is a what?
Pneumonia.
Chest infection, maybe pneumonia.
Pneumonia.
The way is put it is, that's it. Now, if the diffuse rails, so BP is down, it is less. Check survey shows this, huh? Which is the best diagnosis? What is this D dimer assay? When you do of D dimer assay, so patient in a patient who comes with breathlessness, sudden onset breathlessness, I will ask for D dimer assay. And when I will ask, when I'm suspecting pulmonary embolism. Okay, if I'm suspecting pulmonary embolism, then I'll ask for D dimer assay. A sort of, it has got a negative predictive value. So if D dimer is negative, I would say, okay, forget about it. And one more thing you should know, in a pulmonary embolism patient, chest X-ray is usually normal. Rarely those signs are there. Now what you read? There are many signs seen. If the chest X-ray is normal, then only clinically, in a clinically we start suspecting pulmonary embolism could be the cause for what dyspnea. So if the chest X-ray is showing such all sort of dirty things here, then I would not make a first diagnosis of pulmonary embolism. Okay, these are tricks. Huh? So why D-dimer assay I will not ask is one thing I am seeing so many infiltrates which goes against pulmonary embolism, and what is this? The patient has got fever and all this stuff here. One more thing. Huh? Due to all these things, I will not ask for D-dimer assay. This is only when I am suspecting pulmonary embolism, so I am not asking for that. So spiral CT, you want to go for CT scan?
No, sir.
No, you can't say no. But among the four, because you're supposed to pick up one, then okay, you'll keep it now. You'll think of better choices. Are there anything? Now, your basic issue in this case, am I dealing with the respiratory case or a cardiovascular case? Because the BP is already down here. Still, you could be missing something. A patient who is a paraplegic, you may be missing a cardiac problem in him. There is a possibility, yeah. There is a possibility. Unlikely, but possibility. So, you cannot be so damn sure it is not a cardiac case unless, and the basic, and of course, looking this chest X-ray, I will not think of cardiac because it is a non-hilar congestion is there in this actually.
Yes, sir.
And I may actually, to me, I may not go for this. I may go for this. Forget about it. But you, as a medical student, you are supposed to pick up this.
Yes, sir.
I really don't know what was the X-ray put in the exam. These are all pattern questions. See, in a patients of pulmonary or cardiogenic, there will be more hilar congestions, battering. Okay, and there will be what is curly A, B, and all those lines. Okay, and this being non-hilar, you can see edema is far away. So this is more like a non-cardiogenic pulmonary edema. It is there, and chest heart. What is it telling? It is a
Normal.
normal diameter. So and there is a rusty sputum, 37 or 35 years old, unlikely to have a ischemic heart disease. There is a bedridden patient, dyspnea, pneumonia, complications of this one is there. Practically speaking, this will be the answer. But I think so. Your examiners will be happy if you take this because they want to know whether you understood the worth of this. Truly speaking, I'll go further. Nobody measures PCWP these days. Okay,
Yes, sir.
clinically, nobody really measures it. They'll diagnose it with this only. But your books are telling this, you should know that. I don't think so in futures they'll put this as a choice in such a clinical setting. Any clinician will not give such choices to confuse people. Maybe MD, post MD, if they are going for need super specialty, they'll take this. But for you people, you should take this. Okay. Anyway, you're getting the clinical judgment at least.
Yes, sir.
Anyway, severe ARDS is defined as PaO2 by FiO2 ratio less than
100.
yeah, good. So 200 to 300 is mild. 100 to 200 is moderate. Less than 100 is severe.
Severe.
Okay. Very good. I'll go to the next. What is the most common cause of death in ARDS?
Chemical pneumonitis.
Chemical pneumonitis.
Actually,
Problem got
sir,
caused that issues, na, that is the most common cause of death.
sepsis is the most common cause in.
Yeah, and sepsis is the most common cause of ARDS. That's the reason you are going like that. So the problem is the issue which is the problem which led to ARDS is the actual cause of death many times. So non-pulmonary. Okay. Huh?
Sir, it's a tricky question, sir.
Yeah, it is tricky to just say it's non-pulmonary cause. Huh? So more than direct causes, indirect ARDS are more common. Among them, sepsis is the most common. So non-pulmonary cause of death. Anyway, these things are actually not straightforward. Actually, yeah? The patient will not die because of single thing. Multi-organ failure it will be. What happens is they'll end up with the kidney failure. Then heart will also will fail. Then patient will have CNS issues, and all of them will kill the patient actually. These questions may look sensible for an undergraduate. When a postgraduate, this doesn't look sensible. Anyway, the answer is this for this. Okay. So non-pulmonary would be the right answer that way. Patient will develop multi-organ failure actually. And die. ARDS is associated with all except. Okay. Tell me where you
Sir,
get there. Don't get ARDS.
Pulmonary embolism.
Yeah, I told you, yeah, because the pulmonary in pulmonary embolism, lungs are clear. So ARDS is not there in that. Okay, you remember like this. In pulmonary embolism, lungs are clear. Chest X-ray usually is clear. There are many signs described. Most commonly, they are normal. Chest X-ray. ARDS is characterized by all except.
the decrease
Decrease
surfactant.
surfactant. Decrease A.
Yes, sir.
ARDS, there is increased surfactant.
No, sir, that is normal, sir. Because type 1
Normal.
pneumocystis. No,
I didn't get.
sir, in ARDS, type 1 is damaged, sir. No, type 2 is normal. So that's why
ARDS is
in ARDS, sir, type 1 pneumocystis is damaged, sir. Type 2 is normal.
type 2 is not normal. Actually, they will start regenerating later and differentiate to type 1 also later. Type 2 is not usually normal. But a surfactant will be less only there. Due to that only alveoli will collapse. Surfactant is not more. I got this type 1 are damaged, but type 2 are not normal. Where you read that type 2 are normal? Type 2 will come up and they'll that later on differentiate into type 1 there. But type 2 are not normal there.
Okay, sir.
So there is a direction surfactant there. Okay. What about this?
That exudate.
Exudate.
It is exudate. So this is a better answer. Decrease
Okay.
lung compliance. Yeah, stiff lung. And this is okay. This is a diagnosis criteria only. So the answer has to be this. This is exudate. Did you read the type 2 or normal?
Sir, actually, there is you told there is 3 stages, sir. According to stages, means later stages, type 1 is replaced by type 2.
Yeah.
There is also, sir.
Type 1 is not. Type 2 will differentiate. They'll come out because type 1 get damaged. Type 2 will come out. They will differentiate into type 1.
Yes, sir. They will cover up, sir.
Yeah, but the surfactant, I don't think so. It will be normal. It will less only there. You just go through. Huh? Just find out this. Huh?
Okay, sir.
Hmm? But I would go for this because it is transudate. Definitely, it is exudate here because it's inflammation. Hmm? Huh?
Okay, sir.
Just find out and tell me then. Huh? Type 2 cells. Huh? How they behave. Huh? A construction worker had a cement slab fall on his chest. He was rescued. It is a but. I just forget this. But develops difficulty in breathing with cyanosis. Chest exercise this. What is it now?
Sir, it's most probably uh, ARDS due to chest injury.
Yeah, it is chest exercise. Chest injury has caused ARDS. It is a classical of ARDS picture is there. Huh? All this is the best choice. Definitely this is not pneumothorax. Air embolism will not present like this. Huh? So ARDS. Fat embolism can cause ARDS, of course. Huh? 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 But they won't present like this. But anyway. Hmm?
If
So this is
sir,
the correct
if
one.
there is, if in this X-ray, sir, blackening of the lung field is there, then we will go for pneumothorax, sir.
See, the blackening of the lung fields is okay. Then there are two, three signs along with that. The lung fields blackening means actually what does it means? The markings of the lung fields they should not reach up till the end here. You are seeing here, na? Maybe you can call if you want to call this local collapse like that segmental. But if you carefully see, there are markings here also. Huh? Huh?
Okay, sir.
Huh? There will be because of the pneumothorax happens now, it will push the surrounding lung away from it. So those signs have to be seen. Hmm? Then we can
Okay.
call. You said this is the you wanted to consider this local, huh? But this is not very classical. Hmm? So there is a it is a case of ARDS. Hmm? So what these are all neat pattern questions. Huh? So there are some limitations when you discuss about neat pattern questions. The actual X-ray which was given in your exams, none of us can get out. Only the neat patterns we will collect it from the students who give them by their memory rating. And many a times they're all not exact questions we can get there, but the ultimately purpose will be served. That you people will come to know what to read. Hmm? Hmm? That's the reason. They might have given different X-ray inside with many other findings. Huh? All of the following are well recognized predisposing factors for adult respiratory. This is adult C. Some okay.
Acute
Acute respiratory distress syndrome.
status asthmaticus.
Distress syndrome. That's why they keep on calling adult. And acute could be a good choice.
Sir, X. There is a word except, sir.
All of the following are well recognized predisposing factors for that is except. I forgot to write. Okay, I'll put except and see what happens. So this can
Status
cause, this can cause, this can cause.
yes, sir. It's a disease of airway, sir. Asthmaticus, not alveoli.
It doesn't cause. Hmm? Correct. So what is the correct about ARDS? Low tidal volume, low protein
Yes, sir.
pulmonary edema, high pressure, which of them is correct in this?
Sir, first one, sir. Low tidal volume
Yeah,
ventilation.
correct. That's how you treat. So compliance will be less. It is the exudate. So proteins will be more. Pulmonary capillary pressure will be less. And then 18.
Sir, actually, I have a doubt in this question. Actually, low tidal volume ventilation is the treatment of ARDS, sir.
Yeah.
Here is mentioned correct about ARDS.
Yeah.
Then all of the options are, sir, wrong. If we go through, if we think ARDS.
Telling you not to include ARDS treatment here. Huh? Now, in exam, one thing you remember, you have to pick up the answer. You can't say I cannot pick up anything. You don't have that choice there. Huh? Second thing, in of that four, which is more like into treatment here. The sentence is simple, correct about ARDS. Huh? Purposely
Okay,
they put it that put a short on. They're trying to know have you understood about the concept. Huh?
sir.
Hmm? Rest you have to correct these points and make answer. This you will do it when you know the concept. Hmm? That's why they put it like this. Hmm? This is the correct answer there. Hmm? A point that distinguishes between ARDS and cardiogenic pulmonary edema is, tell me, normal PaO2. You get normal PaO2 in ARDS?
No,
Hello?
sir.
No. So anyway, it is not the one. Either in ARDS or in this one, it's not there. In both, they are less. Okay. Normal pulmonary capillary wedge pressure.
Yes,
You
sir.
get in ARDS normal or less or more?
It's
It can
normal
be
means
normal. Less than 18
is
minutes normal only.
less than 18, sir.
Less than 18 minutes, it can be normal. Hmm? Usually it comes up to 14, 12 to 14. Okay, it can be normal. Hmm? So in ARDS. But in cardiogenic pulmonary edema, it will be more than 18. So this is the point which differentiate between the ARDS and cardiogenic pulmonary edema. Normal arterial alveolar gradient, that is gradient. Yeah, there is a increased gradient here. So this is incorrect. In both the cases, it is increased gradient. Normal, it is in both the cases, it is increased gradient. Normal PSCO2, PCO2. In both, it is normal or less. This one.
Yes, sir.
In both cases, we get type 1 failure. Na?
Type 1, sir.
So this doesn't differentiate. Okay. Like this. This doesn't happen. Okay. Happen. In fact, it is increased. Even this can happen. Of which type of virus? Tell me what is SARS?
Sudden acute respiratory syndrome, sir.
Severe acute respiratory syndrome. Severe acute respiratory syndrome. It is caused of which type of which group of virus, man?
So corona there in
You don't want to tell corona. You are afraid that you will get corona. Huh? You're all afraid of telling corona, or you're fed up of hearing corona every day on TV.
yes,
Huh? So corona is not leaving you in MCQs also. Here also it is coming. Yeah.
yes,
So if you switch on the TV, you'll get corona only. So now tolerate corona for some more time because there can be questions. Huh? So SARS was the first coronavirus causing human infection. And now we have got COVID-2. Two again, abis. Huh?
yes,
It is second. This is the first one. Huh? This is SARS which came in 2003. Again from southern China only. They call Southeast Asia because again they don't want to get a bad name. This Chinese, they keep doing that. So coronavirus. Anyway, you should tell Southeast Asia in exam. Hmm? There is a politics in that. Okay. SARS, severe acute respiratory syndrome caused by coronavirus outbreak in 2003, Southeast Asia. Coronavirus infecting humans fall in two genera, alpha and beta. Both SARS and Middle East respiratory syndrome. This is from camels. This is probable from bats. So SARS is probably from bats. MERS, Middle East, under coronavirus, it is from camels. So where is the Middle East? They both fall in a beta group of coronaviruses. They can ask you this question. SARS spreads by human to human by air droplet. Similar to our corona cases, but secondary attack rate is less here. But whereas for corona, COVID 2 to COVID 19, it is what? It is more. That's why it is spread like a wildfire. Almost the clinical manifestations are more. See, one thing that evolutionary or survival advantage is, yeah, any disease which is very virulent, usually it kills the host, and thus the infectivity becomes less. If it produces a lot of less virulence, lot of asymptomatic, lot of incubation period, lot of all those things, then secondary attack rate will increase. That is a normal thing. Na? If a person get infected and dies, how can he spread more? That is a evolution. That's how the evolution happens. Anything like for humans also it applies. If we become very virulent, if we start exploiting our nature, the nature is going to get exhausted and we all will die. If we become less virulent and we live with the nature more in a more friendly relation, what happens is we'll be able to live longer. That's how the evolution works. Huh? Evolution works. If you kill your host, you will also die along with it. Huh? If you kill your neighbor, you also die like that. So coexistence. Actually, the Darwinism is not just survival of the fittest. Actually, it is a survival with coexistence is required because every species depends on another species to survive. If you kill other species, you may also die along with it. Due to its your dependency there. Huh? It works with all these complex mechanisms evolution. Okay, I was going away. Forget it now. So severe acute respiratory syndrome has got a lesser infectivity, high virulence, but you know that it kills. Fatality rates are very. I'll come to know. I'll come to show you now how bad it is. So which of these is not a complication of advanced SARS? It causes pneumonia, it causes heart failure, liver failure, but this doesn't. Okay, muscular atrophy
Yes,
is
sir.
not a complication of SARS.
Sir.
Okay. SARS infection case fatality rate of more than 50%. See here now, 50%. You are not hearing so much, na? Imagine our COVID-19 50% rate. The number of deaths would be 56 million, na? 25 million people would have been dead by day. Maybe at least, even the age group, at least 10 or 12 million people would have been dead. It's not so. Still, we
More
not a
than
million. Only 3 lakh people are died in this world. So naturally, COVID is less causing fatality rate is very less for COVID. I mean 19. Anyway, I'll come to this. Now, case fatality are 50%. In which group?
more than 65, sir.
Yeah, older people only die more. So this answer is for this. Okay. So younger people, yeah, similar to our COVID-19, this has got a older people killing power more. Also get eliminated and humans also will get eliminated. That is going to happen. Huh? So there is neither there is a coexistence for the virus, neither for the coexistence for humans. Hopefully, never know. Anyway, SARS has resulted in deaths of the majority of the people in which of these age groups? Tell me.
Elderly.
Huh?
Elderly,
Huh?
sir.
Elderly. Good. I'll go to next question. I'll discuss this. Why I came to Saccard also straight away? Yeah. Okay. Oh, I put all the questions afterwards. Huh? We'll discuss sarcoidosis then. Now, what is sarcoidosis? It
The
is a
granuloma
non-caseating
disease.
granuloma disease. Okay. Sarcoidosis is a non-multi-system. It involves almost all systems of the body and causes a non-caseating. That means there is no necrosis here. Just
Yes,
remember
sir.
that. No necrosis. Huh? Other day I was discussing on MCQ, na? Non-caseating granuloma characterized by lymphocytes at the periphery and Langerhans cells, epithelial cells in the center. Huh? So it involves the lung in a 90% of the cases. Lymph nodes 70 to 95. Then comes the skin, manifestation of erythema nodosum. Eye, it produces uveitis. Kidney, actually not kidney is not hypercalcemia, anyway written here. It can involve kidney, causing glomerulonephritis and all that. Then you got hypercalcemia. It can cause peripheral neuropathy. It can cause heart failure. Why you know for heart it can cause arrhythmia and heart failure both. And of course carpulmonale by involving the lung. What is carpulmonale? Anybody? What is carpulmonale? Heart failure secondary to right heart
Left
failure. Sorry,
ventricular. Yes, sir.
right
Right
heart
heart.
failure, man. Right heart
Right
failure
ventricular.
secondary to not due to heart disease. Actually, it is. It could be pulmonary vasculature
Pulmonary.
or embolism, lung disease, and all that. It could, yeah, it could be chronic pulmonary thromboembolism or emphysema, chronic bronchitis, not emphysema. This is the better choice. Chronic bronchitis, and all you want restrict to lung destructions. All that can cause heart rate heart failure. Okay. So the frequency with which it involves the each organ. So lungs are the highest. Then comes the skin, eye, extrathoracic lymph nodes. It is extrathoracic lymph nodes. Of course, intrathoracic lungs are equal to. So here is it is. Look at this choice now. Read this properly. This is from Harrison. So extrathoracic lymph node is only 15%. So if you are looking for the cervical, this, that in the body, it will be less. But if you account lung, hilar lymph nodes, because they'll be almost here only, 95% of them. Whenever the lung is involved, except in the last stages, lymph nodes are already involved. In fact, first lymph nodes of the chest are the first. That is the hilar lymph nodes are the first one. Bilateral hilar lymph nodes are the first one to get involved in the lung part. Then you will get involvement of the parenchyma of the lung. Later on, the parenchyma can start getting destroyed and the lymph nodes may regress. So lung involvement is almost 95%. So when you talking about lymph node other than thoracic, the percentage of lymph node involvement becomes less. Liver 12%, spleen 5%, cardiogenic is 2%. Now, these things they may throw on a picture. This is from Harrison. This picture is from Harrison. So, this is lupus perino. Involvement of nose, cheek, ear. It is a
Purple. Purple blue spot, sir.
yeah, purple blue spots. This picture is from Harrison. You can just see. All of you have a PDF of Harrison 20th edition.
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine then. That's good. If you want to buy Harrison, buy it. Now this is erythema nodosum. The external surface you can get here. These are all features of sarcoidosis. Skin manifestations. Now one granuloma where there is no caseous necrosis here. There is no necrosis only here. There is no necrosis, non-caseating peripheral lymphocytes. Inside you get a Langerhans cells. You would have read a lot of pathology. Right? No necrosis. Unlike tuberculosis, when you ask to draw tuberculosis, two people will start doing like this. No, that is not required here. Sarcoidosis, lung involvement. It is in three stages. This is from Harrison I have taken. Stage 1 is bilateral hilar lymph node and right paratracheal lymph node involvement. Alone. Look at this. Alone it is. So in stage 1, only lymph nodes are involved. In stage 2, both lymph nodes and thoracic, these lymph nodes and infiltrates on the lung fields. And stage 3 reveals only infiltrates alone, but the lymph nodes are disappear. Stage 4, it causes fibrosis. There will be fibrous formation. And now we'll come to the questions. All are correct regarding sarcoidosis except often cavitate. Spontaneous remissions are usual. Tubercular test is negative. Bilateral hilar lymphadenopathy. Answer this question. Hello.
Sir, I have a doubt, sir, in A and B, sir.
Often cavitate. See, this is a disease which is got many ways of manifestation. It can come last part 1 or 2 years, disappear, go into remission, reattack. So there is a spontaneous remission is known. This is known. That clinical picture is well explained. Now, what about tuberculosis test? Is
It's
positive or
negative,
negative?
sir. Negative. Negative.
Yeah. I told you, if you're suspecting tuberculosis, bar sarcoidosis, go for tuberculosis test. If it is negative, tend towards sarcoid. If it is positive, tend towards tuberculosis. Of course, you are not dealing miliary now.
Yes, sir.
Non-miliary tuberculosis there. Then only that can be a differential diagnosis between this. Because both of them will will show apical infiltrates will be there. And of course, bilateral hilar lymph nodes can also come with tuberculosis. Of course, when you get that, you tend towards sarcoid only. But if you still want to rule out tuberculosis, ask for tuberculosis test. If it comes positive, you may not be dealing with sarcoid. You will be actually dealing with tuberculosis. If you get negative, of course, there are more specific tests are there. This one also can be used with its negative predictive value. You can use it in reverse way, negative predictive value like that. Okay. So there is you get unilateral lymph nodes or bilateral lymph nodes.
Sir, sarcoidosis bilateral, sir.
Unilateral where?
Tuberculosis.
Primary bone,
Right.
non-focus. Tell like that. That shows your alertness. So unilateral lymph nodes are seen in primary focus of primary tuberculosis. Bilateral means sarcoidosis. This is very important. So tuberculosis are negative. This is also correct. This is also correct. Spontaneous remission is also there. This cavitation doesn't occur because there is no necrosis. Okay. They don't cavitate. This is sarcoidosis and hypercalcemia. You can get hypercalcemia because this granulomas itself will secrete this 125 dehydroxyvitamin D, which will increase calcium level in the blood. Okay.
Okay, sir.
That is the reason for hypercalcemia. So if you are looking for a patient, if you ask for calcium level, if it is more, we start thinking, yes, this patient could be sarcoid like that. Even calcium levels could be a sort of a screening test. Of course, not specific. So as I said, multi-system, but there are some organs which are not involved in sarcoid. They can ask some questions. Breast, testis, ovary, and stomach. These are the organs which are not involved or rarely involved by sarcoid.
Okay.
A woman is admitted with the complaints of low-grade fever of 6 weeks duration. Chest X-graph reveals bilateral lymphadenopathy with clear lung fluids now. All of the following are the investigations will be useful in a differential diagnosis now. So you have got a patient with the bilateral lymph nodes. Now what all you think? Now you want to ask CD4 count or CD8 count in the blood ratio.
Yes, sir. It's a sarcoidosis. In sarcoidosis, that is greater than 3.5.
That is greater than 3.5. Okay. What about serum ACE levels?
Sir, AC level is not may not be considered, sir.
Yeah. Chest CT.
Yes, sir. Of course,
Hmm? Chest CT.
it may consider. It may consider.
What you're going to eat? Lung pits are normal here. Already chest exercise studying normal like that. You may not get any further information. Huh? If you are getting here tidbit something, you start worrying. You know there are bilateral reports are there. Hmm? Maybe still you may ask, but anyway. So as you said, this is a correct answer. Okay. Hmm? Because only bilateral lymphadenopathy is a usually a sign of sarcoidosis. Even this also can be done. No? Forget about this. Look for this. Huh? Gallium scan. Huh? Just see
Yes, sir.
what are in my notes. Speaker notes. Yeah, that only. CD4, CD8. Hmm? You can see here. Hmm? Okay. So this is a correct answer. So this how you want to pronounce this? Quick. Not it is not cannot be called as Kim.
Vim.
Quim,
K is
whatever.
silent, sir.
Vim,
Vim, sir. Yes, sir. Vim.
Vim. Okay. Vim Silber's test is used for diagnosis of which one?
Sarcoidosis.
Sorry. Huh? These are all fancy names. I really these questions are there. That's why I put it. But we don't do it clinically. I really don't know how many questions may come if for you. Just anyway, there are 2, 3 questions. Just take them. Yeah, this is one sign which they may ask. Garland sign in chest X-ray. Sarcoidosis. Which of them is not there in this?
Left paratracheal lymph node.
Left paratracheal lymph node. I'll show Garland sign. So this is a right side. This is a left side. Okay. This is a Garland. Also called as 1, 2, 3 sign. Okay. This lymph node is there. There is a lymph node here and lymph node here. Okay. Left paratracheal lymph node is not there. Okay. This one is not involved. Okay.
Yes, sir.
This is not there. Okay. Not there here. Are you getting it? Left paratracheal not there. This. 1, 2, 3 side. A treatment of charge for acute sarcoidosis is
Prednisolone.
yeah, that's it. Lambda panda sign is typically seen in
CT scan of sarcoid.
yeah. I did not get the figure here. I forgot to put it. Next, I'll put the figure. I forgot to put this figure. This last question, somehow I forgot. I'll put this figure and discuss about lambda panda sign next time. Okay. Huh?
Yes.
Okay. Anything you want to ask? Doubts?
Sir, actually, doubt you told sir mechanical ventilation is required, but why there is in definition there is refractory to oxygen therapy in ARDS?
It is not refractory. It is FiO2. With this much FiO2, there is a see what they tell. That's the ratio. That ratio they're talking. They're not telling you cannot oxygenate at all. You cannot oxygen. They're not telling you. It is not that refractory to see. Otherwise, you increase FiO2. The ratio they're asking the PaO2 by FiO2. PaO2 by FiO2 ratio plus. In case you want to get oxygen at this level, what do? You increase the FiO2,
Yes, sir.
the oxygen, increase the PEEP, and you can still get away with it. From 5 PEEP, you increase it to 10. Of course, you may damage things inside. Of course, you have to do it very carefully. And you can increase the oxygenation from FiO2 from 40 to 50%, 50 to 80%, 60, 80% you can go up. Thus, you can get your required oxygenation of the blood. But to call it as a mild, moderate, severe, they look at the oxygen ratio, the PaO2 to FiO2 ratio, then they call it mild, moderate. It is not total shunting will be there. It is not that total shunting. Huh?
Sir, if we'll give oxygen, is there any improvement or not?
There will be, actually. It will be actually a initially VP mismatch. Ventilation perfusion mismatch will be there. And
Yes,
severe
sir.
cases, there will be shunting. Shunting in the sense, even if you give oxygen with all your effort, you may not be able to oxygenate the patient. That can also happen. It depends upon the severity of the disease. In mild cases, there will just be ventilation perfusion mismatch. There will not shunting of the blood. In severe cases, you are getting what is shunting? Whatever you do, the blood is cannot get oxygenated, then it is shunting. With all your high oxygenation techniques, you are not able to oxygenate the blood, there is shunting, like cyanotic heart disease. So then it is shunting will be there in severe cases, but in mild and moderate cases, there will be just a ventilation perfusion mismatch. So there you can use PEEP and give more oxygen and oxygenate the blood to the this one. By increasing PEEP, in fact, you'll be recruiting more and more alveoli. By giving PEEP, you will be actually recruiting more and more alveoli, thus that there will be oxygenation. And thus they will reduce the shunting otherwise. Shunting there. Just remember that it is not refractory total. It is not total refractory. If
Okay,
it's
sir.
total refractory, then patient will die only.
Okay, sir.
Whatever you do, if you cannot oxygenate the patient, then patient is going to die. By the time then there's no point in giving ventilator.
Yes,
Fine.
sir.
Then ventilator cannot be a treatment of choice for ARDS.
Okay,
In
sir.
ventilator, with help of ventilator, by increasing higher percent of oxygen, by increasing PEEP, we try to oxygenate the blood with all these extra supports.
Okay, sir.
If there is total shunting, ventilator is not going to help at all. As there is still some amount of ventilation perfusion mismatch level, as long as that is there, you can oxygenate. If 100% shunting, all the blood that comes into the lung cannot get oxygenated, just goes to the from right lung, whatever blood comes to the lung, from the right heart, the blood reaching the lung, if it is not at all getting oxygen inside it and just going like that only to the left heart, then it is cyanotic, like inability to oxygenate. It is shunting there. Then
Okay,
that's
sir.
what we call shunting. Shunting, okay, if that is the case, patient is gone. That can happen. I do agree that can happen, but not in all cases of ARDS. In severe forms, maybe before death, that's what is going to happen.
Yes, sir.
Anything?
No, sir.
Okay, then. You people, I have discussed the MCQs. I would expect you people to solve those quiz and submit. I will announce the result tomorrow morning. Go back now. Anyway, all the 28 questions have been discussed. Actually, you know the answers. Answer them at least. And try to recollect. Anyway, I will upload this recorded class. Okay?
Okay, sir.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.